Welcome back to Season 2 of Neo and Jiho's Love Story, Part 47. Where are you tuning in from? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you stay updated. At the hospital, Kang Bora, who used to go by Bora Anand in Thailand, was now battling for her life. She had lost hope that her son Jiho would ever forgive her, yet she had not even tried. For King Jihoon, she was the sister that remained from his late mother. They reached the doors. Dr. Sophie Lee stepped in, eyes on the monitors, hands already working. Name? Kang Bora, Jiho said. Possible mix, large ingestion, unknown timing. Prep lavage, labs, EKG, tox, Dr. Lee said to her team. Set for full support. Keep noise down. She looked once at Jiho. You ride in with her? Yes. Good. You'll wait outside the doors. I'll update you once she is stabilized or if we change course. I will be here, he said. The team rolled Bora through the threshold. The doors sealed, the sound damped. The corridor went quiet. Jiho stepped back against the wall, exhaled, and spoke into the phone. Dr. Lee has her. Orders are clear. She will update us. Remain there, King Jihoon said. You did well. Not finished, Jiho said. His jaw was tight. I am staying until we get a status. Update me at any change, King Jihoon said. I will. Minutes stretched. Nurses moved in and out with short, focused steps. A tech brought a printout past him and disappeared through another door. The monitor tones were faint through the wall. Jiho kept his eyes steady on the doors and his mind on the next moves. It was the same morning, and Jiho and Neo lay in bed just having that morning talk. The first thing he saw was her face in the morning light. That was always enough to undo him. Good morning, my queen, he whispered, his voice low and full of tenderness. He brushed his lips over her temple, lingering as if the simple act could anchor him. Neo chuckled sleepily. Good morning, Dr. Kang. That pulled Jiho upright, blinking as though she had spoken something scandalous. Dr. Kang, she turned her head toward him, a smile curving her lips. Yes, if you had your way, you'd check these babies every 5 minutes. Admit it. You secretly wish you were a doctor. Jiho pressed his palm over her stomach with mock solemnity. If I were a doctor, I'd never let anyone else touch you. You'd be my only patient. Forever. Neo laughed and swatted his chest lightly. Possessive much? Only with you, he replied simply. Then he bent down, pressing his ear gently to her belly. His voice softened into a whisper. Wake up, little ones. Appa is here. Neo ran her fingers through his dark hair, amusement dancing in her eyes. Jiho, they'll kick when they feel like it. Not because you're bossing them around. He lifted his head with exaggerated disappointment. So even my own children refuse to obey me? They've inherited your stubbornness? Neo gasped, pretending to be offended. My stubbornness? Jiho Kang, please. He grinned and kissed her, slow and deep, until laughter dissolved between them. When he pulled back, his voice lowered to something reverent. I adore them already, but I adore their mother even more. Her throat tightened with emotion, though she covered it with humor. That's sweet. But adoration doesn't get us to the hospital. We're finding out today if it's boys or girls, remember? Jiho sat up, childlike excitement flashing across his face. Today's the day. He stretched, then extended his hand to her. Shall we go see our future? Neo took it, letting him pull her up. Moments later, the sound of running water filled their marble bathroom. Steam curled upward, blurring the wide mirror. Jiho had already rolled up his sleeves, fussing with the temperature like a perfectionist, when Neo slipped in behind him. She touched his arm lightly. You're worse than the nurses. I'm setting it exactly right, he said, testing the spray. No surprises. You and the babies deserve comfort. She stepped closer, her body brushing his, her laughter soft. You spoil me too much. He turned, his eyes darkening with affection. Never enough. The shower filled with warmth, the sound of water mixing with laughter. Jiho insisted on washing her hair. By the time they stepped out, wrapped in soft towels, Neo's cheeks were flushed with both heat and happiness. She sat at the vanity while Jiho carefully brushed her hair, something he had begun during their honeymoon and now refused to give up. Most husbands don't spend their mornings brushing their wives' hair, he smirked. Most husbands aren't married to Neo Malifi. She laughed, shaking her head. You're impossible. And you, he said, pressing a kiss to the top of her head, are irreplaceable. They dressed simply but elegantly. Jiho in a light shirt and dark trousers, Neo in a comfortable maternity dress that still showed her graceful figure. As Jiho helped her with her sandals, Neo's gaze softened. Jiho, she said quietly. He looked up, instantly attentive. Yes? I want to check on Tumi before she leaves for the university. Jiho nodded at once. Of course. She'll be happy to see you this morning. Neo smiled. I want her close before we leave for the hospital. Jiho kissed her hand. Then go. I'll wait for you in the study. Insu said he'd stop by. Probably he's already here. I heard a car. Neo tilted her head, listening. Indeed, the sound of an engine hummed faintly through the estate gates. She smiled knowingly. Neo padded down the wide corridor toward her sister's room. She paused outside the door, then knocked lightly. Inside, Tumi's voice carried, quick and lively. She was on the phone. Yes, I'll confirm it later. No, I'm not late yet. Okay, bye. She turned, spotted her sister, and let out a squeal. Neo! She cried, abandoning everything to throw her arms around her. Neo laughed, hugging her tightly. Good morning, little sister. You look so... Oh my goodness, your stomach! Tumi pulled back just enough to press her palms against Neo's belly. You've grown so much in 2 months. I feel like I blinked and you doubled. Neo's smile softened. They're growing fast. Maybe they'll come out running just like their aunt. Tumi rolled her eyes playfully, then hugged her again. I missed you so much. I missed you more, Neo whispered. The sisters stood there for a moment, just holding each other, laughter mingling with emotion. Then Tumi stepped back, shaking her head. Wait. Before you say anything, I have so much to tell you. But first, you tell me. How was the island? Neo sank onto the edge of the bed, patting the space beside her. Meanwhile, in the study room, Insu stood by the desk while Jiho reviewed a few papers. Jiho, Insu said quietly. You remember you promised Jumong Lee you would call him today. Jiho nodded once, set the papers aside, and reached for his phone. He dialed. The line connected quickly. Mr. Lee, Jiho said respectfully. This is Jiho. 2 days ago when we spoke, you mentioned the hospital project. I wanted to follow up. You can now send over the sketches. Neo will review them before we make anything formal through the company. There was a pause. Then Jumong Lee's deep, steady voice answered with warmth. Thank you, Mr. Kang. It is an honor that Neo will look through them. Her perspective will be greatly valued. I will have them sent immediately. Jiho inclined his head slightly, though unseen. We will review them carefully, and when the time is right, we can sit together for a formal discussion. Of course, Jumong replied. And may I also take a moment to congratulate you once again on your marriage. I wish you both happiness and good fortune in your hospital visit today. Your words are appreciated, Jiho said. We will speak again soon. The call ended. Jiho set the phone down. Insu gave a small nod. That is settled, then. Jiho's eyes softened. Yes. Now it is time for the hospital. Meanwhile, Tumi and Neo were steadily laughing at the joke Neo had said about the babies. Then Neo switched the conversation to asking Tumi how her new work is at the hospital. How's the new job at the hospital? At once, Tumi's eyes lit up. Oh, Neo. You can't imagine how exciting it's been. It's overwhelming sometimes, but in the best way. Do you remember that story in the news? The surgery that separated the triplets from Indonesia? The ones who were joined at the head? Neo's eyebrows rose. Of course I remember. The whole world watched that. Tumi nodded quickly, her hands animated as she spoke. Well, the lead surgeon in that operation is here, Dr. Sophie Lee. She's the star of the hospital. Everyone, patients, doctors, even the nurses like me, everyone wants to work under her or at least be connected to her cases. She's brilliant. And not just brilliant, kind, too. She carries herself like someone who knows the weight of the world is on her shoulders, but she never loses her grace. Neo leaned forward, intrigued. Yes, Jiho and I read about her in one of the magazines on the plane. She's from Namibia, isn't she? Exactly. Tumi's voice was filled with pride, as if the doctor were her own mentor already. Namibia, an African woman making global headlines, right here in Korea. Can you believe it, Neo? Every corridor you walk down in that hospital, you hear her name. Neo smiled at her sister's enthusiasm. It's inspiring. Africa is full of brilliance, but to see it celebrated like that here? Yes, it's powerful. Toomey leaned closer, lowering her voice conspiratorially. Neo, you should change your hospital. Come to ours. Be under Dr. Sophie Lee's care. Honestly, every mother in the ward wants her. They even say she's the safest pair of hands in the entire country. Neo chuckled, shaking her head gently. You're starting to sound like Jiho. Toomey blinked. What do you mean? Neo's lips curved into a soft smile. He said the same thing. He wanted me under Sophie Lee's care, too. And of course, he didn't stop at just talking. He already reached out, through Insu, actually, to her husband. Can you imagine? They've arranged it. We have an appointment this afternoon. Toomey's mouth fell open, her curls bouncing as she shook her head in disbelief. Neo! You didn't even tell me? Neo laughed at her sister's expression. I was going to surprise you, but since you practically gave the same speech as Jiho, I thought you deserved to know. Toomey pressed her hand to Neo's belly, her smile softening. So today's the day. You'll know if it's boys, girls, or maybe both. Neo placed her own hand over Toomey's, her voice tender. Yes, today we see a glimpse of our future. For a moment, silence stretched, filled only with the quiet hum of the estate outside. Then Toomey's expression shifted, a shadow of nerves creeping into her eyes. She pulled her hand back slowly and sat upright. Neo, there's something I need to tell you too. Neo tilted her head. What is it? This weekend, Toomey began, twisting her fingers together. I'm going to spend it at Insu's place. His family members are coming to meet me. Neo's eyes widened, then softened with warmth. Toomey, that's wonderful. That's serious. He's showing you to his family. Do you realize how important that is? I do. Toomey gave a small, nervous laugh. That's the problem. I realize it too much. Neo, what if they don't like me? What if they see me and think I don't belong in their world? Neo reached out, catching her sister's hands in hers. Toomey, listen to me. You already belong in his heart. That's the world that matters. But family, Toomey's voice wavered. You know how strong families can be. Sometimes their approval can make or break everything. Neo squeezed her hands. Do you love Insu? Toomey looked down, her cheeks warming, then nodded. Yes. And does he love you? Her eyes lifted, clear and certain this time. Yes, completely. Then that's what matters, Neo said firmly. Families can adjust. They may need time, but love has its own way of breaking down walls. Toomey blinked back, the moisture gathering in her eyes. You always know what to say. Neo smiled. I just know you, my sister, and I know Insu. He wouldn't fight for you this hard if you weren't the one he saw his future with. Toomey sighed, leaning her head against Neo's shoulder. He keeps asking me to move in with him, Neo. Almost every week he says it. He doesn't want to keep driving back and forth here. Neo chuckled softly. He's eager. You've already captured his heart, and now he wants the rest of you in his world. I know, Toomey admitted, her voice a whisper. But I'm not ready. I want to finish my studies first. I need to complete this step before I think about committing fully. I don't want to lose focus. Neo stroked her sister's hair. That's wise. You're protecting your future. But remember, you don't have to shut love out while you pursue it. Insu understands you. That's why he's still here, waiting, patient, even if a little restless. Toomey laughed lightly. Restless is an understatement. The sisters laughed together, the sound ringing through the room like a melody. Neo leaned back, looking at her sister with affection. Toomey, don't let fear guide you. Love is not about being ready in a perfect way. It's about being willing to grow together.